guys, this is video 2 of my run and gun loadout series. The first was rifle and chest rig. This is pistol and belt. The next will be night vision considerations and stuff to think about if you want to run one of these in the dark. For pistol and belt, we'll be taking a look at both basic setups, what you need for a fun and safe run, and more advanced stuff that's worked out pretty well for me. We'll start off looking at the pistols themselves. We're not going to get too much into brand X or brand Y or which model. We're going to look more at what characteristics the pistol needs to have and what you and the pistol together need to be capable of doing. So, same as with rifle, reliability is king. If it won't function, rain, shine, snow, ice, heat, water, mud, it doesn't matter. The gun has to be reliable. After that comes accuracy, only in this case, it's you plus the pistol have to be accurate. So it's going to be what pistol you shoot best. That's going to vary from person to person. But if the gun is reliable and you shoot it well and you can find a holster that'll fit it well, that's a good pick. A common theme I see at lots of events, especially amongst the higher end competitors, is double stack 9mm with a red dot. Beyond that, you'll see tons of variations in make and model of the pistol or the optic, but with no power factor, 9mm makes a lot of sense, and with no divisions, you might as well bring a red dot. Most of us shoot faster with those. There's a big debate between open and closed emitters. In my opinion, enclosed emitters are the way forward, but at this time, SRO is still king of the red dots with its open emitter. No one's quite nailed that format yet on the enclosed emitter, in my opinion. I think it's going to take a different battery format to really get that form down to a size where it's really ideal for a pistol. With no divisions in run and gun, there's no reason not to run a muzzle brake if you want to. So my XC has one. This is my go-to pistol. I'll be doing another video later on zooming in on the Staccato XC and what it is that I like about it and why I chose this gun. The pistol shooting at most run and gun events isn't terribly challenging from a technical standpoint. Most of the courses of fire I could probably clear with just a plain Glock 19. So if this is all you have is just a basic pistol that's reliable and you know how to use it, don't be afraid to show up and run that. You'll probably do okay. You need to make sure that your pistol will cycle in any orientation and that you know your hold. So if you're working under a vehicle or through a VTAC barricade, you really need to make sure that the gun's going to work and you know where to aim it. I try to keep my run and gun loadout as practical as possible. That's why my pistols have illuminators on them. The Surefire X300V has white light and IR light. We'll get more into that in the night vision video. But my pistols have illuminators on them. My holsters also accommodate that. Same as with my rifle. I'm marking each fastener on my optic, making sure that these don't get away from me. I do the same thing with the battery cap. Typical pistol shot ranges at most running guns is between 5 and 25 yards for pistols, but that can vary based on what the match instructors want to throw at you that day. I've seen some pistol shots as far as 100 yards or so. That's usually for a bonus type target. Maybe you get to skip an obstacle if you can do that. That is a place where having a red dot might be kind of nice. Let's zoom out onto the system as a whole and what we're trying to do here. I want to shoot as quickly as possible, move as quickly as possible. What that means is getting as much weight off of my waist as I can and onto my chest rig or backpack if I have one. So I'm kind of running my belt with the bare minimum that I can. So I've got my pistol, reloads for the pistol for reloading on the clock, a speed reload for my rifle, a dump pouch for equipment as needed, and then medical gear, an IFAK, and a tourniquet just in case something goes drastically wrong. I try to leave my front section mostly open so that I can bend over easily, I can do low crawls, I can work vehicles easily without having things poking me in the belly or in the chest or interfering with my chest rig. So this area here I'm trying to keep as low as possible. Same as with chest rig, I'm keeping everything one deep. I'm not stacking pouches on top of pouches. For the back of the rig, I'm keeping things as slim as possible so this pouch will roll up and stow, and this IFAK is pretty narrow. What that gets me is the ability to sit down in vehicles. I can drive in a vehicle all day long in this, and it's very comfortable. So I'm trying to keep things practical and low profile. The belt itself is Ronin, no real magic there. Get any good high quality belt that you like. This is an inner Velcro, outer Velcro system. So inside is Velcro here. I attach everything with Velcro one wrap. It's very versatile and very secure. I've not had any of these ever come loose. Cobra buckles are great. As with anything else carrying mags, gear, I'm looking at Esstac. That's my first stop. So got Esstac double Kiwis with a gap. If you're going on a belt, you generally want this gap. If you're going into Molly, you want no gap. But for one wrap mounting, you can do the gap ones, and I prefer those. Same thing here, single Kiwi from Esstac. Side note, Mark your stuff. If you want to get your things back, if you drop them, write your name on them. You're much more likely to get them back. Not that anybody's taking your things at these events, just it's easier to find you if you have a name on them. I've got the dump pouch. As I mentioned, this rolls up and stows out of the way. There's a buckle here so I can clip this up and get out of the way, but I usually just leave it deployed. IFAK, I've got chest seals, bandages, the usual in here. Holster is Safariland. We'll take a closer look at that in just a minute. And then I've got a tourniquet mounted right up here up front where I can get to it with my right or left hand should the need arise. With my belt, I started marking where the belt ends. You can see a small line there. That's just because I kept tightening and tightening my belt. I thought I was losing weight and getting skinnier, but turns out my belt was just loosening up and I'm still fat. My pistol, Safariland, is kind of the go-to for holsters. As with lots of them, it's really hard to find an exact match for my pistol to holster, so I had to modify this holster to get my pistol to fit. Don't be afraid to do that. But nub mod, again, very common. I don't know why they don't come with these. Look up nub mod. It will make your draw faster. For Safariland holsters, I really like them to have this hood. This helps keep stuff off your optic, whether it's mud from a low crawl or if it's raining and you just want to keep stuff off your glass. I know this will get us back into the open versus enclosed emitter debate. That being said, here you can see a video of my kid using this pistol. He's got a similar holster, and he's going through the river at WTF in Texas. He shortly after this completely dunks it in the water, and it comes up fine. Oil and mud will occlude the optic, but water is just fine with open emitters in my experience. For mounting the gun, I don't use the Safariland QLS system. I'm never removing this holster, and I'm always shooting the same pistol. If you're shifting pistols around, the QLS is a great way to go. I know lots of high-end guys that use them. I choose to run with a leg strap. This is not to be confused with a drop leg holster. I see some new guys with drop holsters where their whole holster is down their leg. Don't do that. Put the gun up here on your hip. That's where it belongs. This strap is just to arrest the bouncing motion when you run so your gun isn't flopping around. Also, when you draw the gun, if you don't have a strap, the holster can twist to the side. These guys push the buttons on my red dot, which can turn it off. That's not good. So, one key element of any pistol and belt setup for running gun is that the holster has to have positive retention. That is, it needs a button. A Kydex friction fit holster is just not adequate in my opinion. There's too much movement with running gun. You're going over things, under things, running a long ways. Might be doing it at night. If your pistol gets away from you, that's an absolute disaster. I've seen that happen where a competitor showed up at a stage and his pistol was gone and he was backtracking through the river looking for his gun that he hot dropped. He probably went home with a DQ. You don't want that to happen. I will take the tiny trade-off in draw time for positive retention with my holster. That is, this pistol is not coming out until I hit this button. All right, so what if we don't have the fancy stuff? Can we still compete in running gun? The answer to that is absolutely yes. Just a plain Glock 19, I have no doubt that I could clear a course of fire. Again, my splits won't be quite as sharp as it would with some nicer stuff, but I could absolutely do it with this gun and have a great time and learn a lot. Just a plain holster here from Amazon. It has positive retention, so it's got a button here to release. It latches on the trigger guard. Without pushing that button, this gun's not going anywhere. Push the button, it comes right out. Got an extra little hood here that I may or may not use. I'd probably get rid of this guy. Fasteners could go here and you'll be clamped onto your belt. I'm typically using the biggest magazines that will reliably feed. So for my Staccato, that means the 26 rounders. If I were shooting the Glock, I'd use these 33s. And for the 229, I went as far as to modify these mags for something else just to get a few extra rounds in the gun. I like that capacity, try to keep my reloads to a minimum. My reloads, I'm planning them out while I'm getting the stage brief to reload while I'm moving from shooting position to shooting position. So if I hit slide lock, I know I've done something wrong. I'm trying to plan that as best I can while I'm getting the stage brief. Alright guys, so that's what I got for you on pistol and belt loadouts for running guns. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Next video, night vision and night vision setups for running gun. See ya.